So you see that I don't have eyes of this character, and I will tell you why. Because as you know from the title of this tutorial, this is about making eyes. So I will explain a lot that I have learned through the years. I have read in the internet and everything about the proportions of the eyes compared to the face, and also the eyeballs, very important for sculptures especially, because if you draw eyes, the eyes are 1/5 of the width of the head. So if you draw them, it will be easier for you because you have one eye between both eyes, and you have one eye distance between the corner of the eye and the end of the head. But the end of the head not here, but in the most widened, the most wide part of the head, which is here in the brain. No, it's here. Above the ear, in this place here, is the most wide part of the head. So we will measure this now without perspective, because yeah, let's put the perspective on, but let's make sure that it's small perspective, not so big. So yeah, 85 is nice. So probably the eyes should be around almost 5 times compared to the width of the face, but not exactly 5. I will show you. So first what we want to do is append a cylinder. Let's take this cylinder, remove symmetry now, because not symmetry with perspective, because we don't want it, and we'll make this, and yeah, this. And it doesn't matter how big it is, because this is the eye. This represents the eye. Of course, it's very schematic, but whatever. So let's just copy it 5 times. Let's do it like this. I'm control holding and shift also holding, because if I don't hold shift, only control, it's happening, it's no problem, so it's cool. And I will do this, and this will be our eyes. Let's remove this one. Okay, let's remove this one. Thank you. They're hidden, and we're okay. So now these are our this is the width of our head. So I will make it smaller, of course, because it has to be this kind of width. Let's do this and go. Move it a little bit this way, and probably this is it. You can see that the width now is exactly the width of our head. So we'll go down, and now we will make it a little bit bigger, because the distance between the corner of the eye and the widest part of the head is not exactly one eye. Sometimes it's a little bit less. So I will make it a little bit bigger, but not too much, just a little bit. Okay, tiny bit. So now we know where our eyes will be. So we can go to the head and just mark the beginning of the eye here and the end of the eye around here. Remove this, and then I will draw my eye. But be careful where to put it, because sometimes you can do this thing, and this will be too low, of course. So we might want to go from this area, and this will be the other corner. It will be a little bit upwards. So this is corner to corner, and then we'll have this kind of thing, eye, and the bottom part of the eye, the bottom eyelid, will be not so curvy most of the time. Although it could be. You can open a female eye in Google and you will see how much different eyes are. So I just draw the eyes. Now what I want to do is inflate a little bit so I can put the eyeball inside. So I'll go get my inflate brush and just inflate, and just smooth and inflate and smooth, and yes. So this is it. It looks very odd, but doesn't matter. So now for the eyeball, very important. Let's append the sphere, and let's see. I had a question in my YouTube channel. How do you notice, not how do you notice, but how do you determine how big is your eyeball? And this is a very, very good question, because most people are struggling with this, and yeah, most people make the eyeball like this size, which is approximately the size of the eye, the width of the eye. You can see it's like almost the width of the eye, which is wrong. Yeah, the eye is bigger than the eyeball. I mean, the visible part of the eye, corner to corner, is bigger than the eyeball, because it goes 5 times into the width of the head. But the eyeball, I will tell you how it measures. So the eyeball is approximately 2.5 centimeters, which is 1 inch. Approximately. It goes from 2.3 to 2.7 maybe, but 2.5 is cool. So 2.5 is 1 inch. The head is from 6 to 7 inches wide. So it's the eyeball can go into the head with 6 to 7 times. But for women, probably they have smaller heads and bigger eyes, so we will go like 6 times. So let's go 6. I will go like this, copy it with control holding. Oops, now I just want to touch it. Okay. And now just control, pull it until we have 6. For male characters, we may have 7 or 6.5. You can make it 6.5, but I will make it 6 for now, for our character. So let's do this, and then let's go to the middle as much as possible, and then just squeeze it. And it doesn't matter that I'm so much in the middle, but I will try to be. So I'll make it a little bit bigger. Not a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. Just a little bit. So it's 6 and not a half, but 6 and something, you know. I'm trying. Okay. Now. Alright. Now, one of these will be our eyeball. But see, it's not this one or this one or this one, of course. Maybe it's this one, but it's not exactly. This is just to measure the size of the eyeball. So we'll get one eyeball now, and we'll fit it inside our eye that we have measured before. So let's do that. Let's go and auto group. So we have every ball in the different group, and then select only one of those balls and excuse me, and then del hidden, and we'll have our eyeball. And our eyeball will go into the eye itself. Let's go transparency and fit it here. It will go like this. Something like that. So it's cool. And now we will try to model the eye around our eyeball. Let's try to do this. It will be difficult and dangerous task, but we're up to it. So now I will do it, and then I will show you as a bonus how to make a good eyeball in ZBrush. In the tutorial about the female head, I've done it, but it's 1 hour, and probably you would want it to be here also, because it's very fast. It's like 5 minutes and it's done. And it's not exactly the perfect eye, but it's very decent, and that's why I'm doing it, you know. It's very cool. So we'll just make the upper eyelid, the bottom eyelid. Below the bottom eyelid there is always this kind of going inside. You can see like this. It's a little bit too much in my case. Should be a little bit less, but I will smooth it and it will be okay. And then we should make this kind of a tear thing here. Yeah, my clay tubes is not working, which is too bad. Some of my brushes are working, some are not. Let's clay brush. Oh yes, it's RGB only, so it was not working. When it's on RGB mode, it's only drawing, but not doing anything else. So I will just do this, because we have this kind of a fat tissue above the eye, especially in female. In male also, but you have to be careful not to do this, what I've done here. So from this point here, if you see the silhouette, we have to go deeper and deeper and deeper, like this. And when the silhouette is showing us this, we have to dig deeper with our eye, and our eye should be a little bit deeper, like this. Deeper is not, deeper, yes. And our eye should go a little bit more inside like this, most likely. And also, you have to be careful about the upper eyelid. You have to go from the bottom, and just the upper eyelid should always be above or in front, if you look from this direction, in front of the bottom eyelid. So probably our eye should go a little bit upwards, like this. So we will have this. Yeah, it has, of course, it cannot be done super quick and look super nice, but it's starting to look relatively good. So I will work a little bit on it, just refine it a little bit more, and then we will make the eyeball, the iris, the pupil, it's pronounced pupil, and it will be fine. So as you can see, in the other eye here, I don't have symmetry because I disabled symmetry a little while ago, and I will have to do some trick that I will show you now. It's fast and efficient, and the trick is to disable symmetry again. Just mask this area, what you want to repeat from the other eye. Invert the mask, go to deformation, smart resume, and you're ready. Then we'll go with symmetry, and just everything will be fine. Then I will go and mirror this eye, and we'll have it. So I will turn on perspective, and now you see the eyes are looking relatively nice. So the next thing we want to do is go to the eye itself and just symmetry, because I want to work on both eyes. You may work only on one eye, it's up to you, of course. So I will decimate twice, not decimate, but increase the resolution twice, divide it twice, and then I will tell you how to determine how much the iris will be of the eyeball. So the iris will be a circle about this size. And let's see if I'm right. Yeah, it's a little bit difficult, but let's see if I'm right. So to check out, you can make this. From the beginning, from the middle of the iris up to here, the distance is the same as from here to the end of the eye. So the radius of the iris is equal to the distance between the iris and the end of the eyeball, looking from the front, like you can see here from the front. From this, of course, it's different, but whatever. So we invert the mask, and then we inflate this part. And I call this a lens. It's not a lens, it's a sclera or something like this, but let's not get into terminology that much, because it's, yeah. So it has to protrude, like you can see here. So now I keep my mask, and I go with a blue eyes. I always go with blue eyes, I don't know why. I like them. And bluish fill object. And now what we'll do is just keep the mask and go with a lighter color. Go with our alpha brush, or if you don't have alpha brush, you go with your standard brush and just disable Z add and enable RGB, and you will be set. And then you can draw with the color you have chosen. So I just do this. Just draw lines which are going into the center, which is, yeah, you just have to be not precise, but just a little bit like going to the center and outside and like this. Then I will go with a darker color, just for good measure. Then I will go with a very light color only on the bottom part here, because if the so-called lens, what I call it, is protruding, the iris itself is going inwards a little bit, so it catches the light by its bottom part, like here, like this direction, and the top part is a little bit darker, but you will see that in a minute. So now I will just fill it with black, which is, this is the pupil, what we call the pupil, and it will be this size. You yeah, watch for this to be circular. Hopefully you can make it. And now we have the eye, but it doesn't look good. So it's very important. You go to your materials, find the toy plastic material, and fill object, RGB. So this fill object is not here. It's obvious most of the time. It's, I think it's in color. Yeah, color fill object. So don't worry about it. Maybe I will do a video someday about my overall how I do my interface, because this is much easier to work with. So this video is starting to get pretty huge. I mean, not super huge, but the eyes are a subject that needs more attention. And I haven't seen a lot of videos explaining the eyes in the internet, so it's good. So now we have our eyes set, our eyeballs, but our model looks a little bit off. So I'll explain what we can do. So we go to a basic material for the model and go and just adjust the eye a little bit more. From the side view, it could not go too much like this. It should be more like this. You should be careful about that. I've seen a lot of mistakes regarding this. And every time when we sculpt, exactly when we sculpt, we will make the eyelids much fatter, not much fatter, but just wider or thicker than they are in real life, a little bit, because we need more shadow, and we need this shadow to go to the bottom of the eye, to the eyeball, although we don't have it now. I will do this a little bit in the bottom here, and then of course this part, and then smooth. And we'll see here it's a little bit off, but it doesn't matter too much. I will just mask the upper eyelid. It's a trick. Just mask it easily. And then I will, with my move brush, I will go ahead and move this just a little bit down here. And this will give us the impression of just a more relaxed look. Let's see it from, okay, it looks fine. Yes. Then I will just increase this a little bit more. And you see that it started to look a little bit better now. But not quite, we are not quite there yet. We'll have to make this line continuous here. And this is like this. So, next thing we want to do that will make our model look very much better. She will not have this very much wide eyes look, you know, like wow, I'm so scared or something like this. First I want to take this a little bit more upwards, and this one, this part here, and then the eye will go down from there. But you have to be careful, because the corner of the eye from the outside shouldn't be lower, most of the time shouldn't be lower than the corner of the eye in the inner part, because this will be odd. So most of the time it's like this. The corner here is a little bit higher, but not too much, because if you make it too much, it will be an Asian character. And if you want Asian character, it's okay. But if you don't want, it's not okay. So, next thing we want to do, very importantly, you will see how our model will change. We'll get this eyeballs a little bit upwards. And it's not that. What we'll do is go to them, go to our alpha brush or the standard brush with just RGB on, without ZAD. RGB intensity low, lower than 10. And then go to our very dark color and just start to add shadow just below the upper eyelid. Just a little bit like this. shadow there, and shadow just a little bit below here. But you have to be very subtle, like this. And now she looks a little bit more like it. Like what, you will ask? Like herself. Okay. And now we will add shadow, not shadow, but just mask this area here and the bottom area. This will just give us the impression of a makeup and eyelashes. And we are kind of ready. You can see the eyes, they're looking fine. And in the beginning they looked small, but now they look pretty much okay. So yeah, that's about it, about the eyes in 20 minutes. Thank you for watching, and hopefully this was useful to you.